Have you ever felt stuck in a financial rut, like you were running on a treadmill with no way forward? Working hard every month only to see the money disappear into debt, bills, and endless commitments? Do you feel like you're missing something? That key piece that can transform your life and take your finances to the next level? Don't worry, you're not alone. I've been there too. I tried everything: budgeting, cutting back, even those typical saving strategies that everyone repeats. But nothing seemed to work in the long run. Until after a long time, I found a radically different approach that changed my life forever. It's not about saving or investing in cryptocurrencies or the latest financial boom. It's a simple, yet powerful key that doesn't require complicated formulas or advanced financial knowledge. This idea comes directly from a concept found in the famous book, The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. And it was the one that made the difference in my financial path. Are you ready to know that key? One of the biggest problems we face when it comes to money is the constant cycle of earning, spending, going into debt, and starting over again. We live in a culture that encourages us to buy more, to appear successful, and to compete, sometimes without realizing it, with those around us. Even when we try to save, many times that money ends up going to an emergency or an unexpected expense. The underlying problem is that when we don't have a plan, we eventually return to our old habits, and without realizing it, we are back to where we started, or worse, more indebted than before. So what does it take to break this cycle? The financial key that transformed my life is simple: living debt-free. It may seem obvious, but the reality is that debt is a burden that holds us back and limits our potential for growth. When I made the decision to free myself from all my debts, credit cards, personal loans, and any other financial commitment, it was like lifting a weight I had been carrying for years. After that, I was able to see my money as a tool to build a future, instead of a chain that kept me tied to the past. In our society, debt has become normalized to the point of being seen as a necessary tool to achieve our dreams. From advertising to buy now, pay later programs, everything is designed to make us believe that going into debt is okay. But in reality, every debt robs us of a part of our financial freedom. It keeps us tied to monthly obligations and the constant worry of meeting those payments, leaving less room to create and move forward. However, we must keep in mind that achieving a debt-free life does not happen overnight. It requires a plan, discipline, sacrifice, and, above all, a firm decision to change our relationship with money. This approach involves seeing money not as something that is always within our reach through credit, but as a resource that must be used strategically to achieve our goals. When you finally stop relying on debt, the perspective changes. Your income is no longer used to pay off debts. This financial freedom allows you to focus on what really matters and develop a life without financial constraints. Now, let's look at the steps Dave Ramsey recommends to achieve this. Step 1. Get out of debt. To start living debt-free, the first step is to organize all of your debts into a detailed list. While this may seem overwhelming, it's crucial to truly understanding your financial situation. Write down every debt you have, from the smallest to the largest, and include the total balance, interest rate, and minimum payment for each. By having this information organized, you'll get a clear view of how much you owe in total and in what order to tackle each debt. Next, it's important to choose a repayment strategy that will work. In his book, Dave Ramsey recommends the debt snowball strategy. This technique involves paying off the smallest debts first, regardless of their interest rate. By focusing on the smaller debts, you achieve small victories that motivate you to keep moving forward. Once you eliminate the first debt, the money you previously spent on it is added to paying off the next one on the list. With this method, you build a snowball effect, achieving an emotional and financial boost that makes it easier to move on to the larger debts. If you find today's video interesting, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next content. Let's get on with it. Step 2. Change your financial mindset. This means ceasing to view credit as a financing tool, understanding that money is a tool you control, not a resource that dictates your decisions. Having this mindset is key to ensuring a calm, stress-free financial life. One of the foundations of achieving this mindset is avoiding impulse purchases. The next time you feel the urge to buy something, pause and ask yourself if you really need that item or if you can live perfectly well without it. This habit not only helps you spend less, but it strengthens your self-discipline and gives you greater control over your finances. Every time you decide not to make an unnecessary purchase, you take one step closer to your goal. It's also essential to get rid of the comparison syndrome. We live in an age of social media where what others buy, use, and enjoy is displayed without filters. This constant bombardment can make you feel like you need the same thing to be on par with those people. However, remember that many of those people are just as indebted as anyone else. Stay focused on your own goals and avoid comparing yourself to others. Financial freedom doesn't depend on having what others have, but on living debt-free and at peace with your decisions. Changing your financial mindset means learning to live within your means. Step 3. Build an emergency fund. Once you've paid off your debts, the next crucial step on your path to financial stability is to build an emergency fund. This fund acts as your protective shield against unexpected expenses that can affect your financial situation. Imagine your car breaking down or a medical emergency arising. These things can happen at any time, and it's vital to be prepared. That's why it's recommended to have between 3 and 6 months of basic expenses covered in this fund. Having this amount saved allows you to face any situation without having to resort to loans or credit cards, which keeps you away from the debt cycle. Not only does an emergency fund provide a financial safety net, it also offers you peace of mind. Knowing that you have a backup in case of unexpected events allows you to focus on your long-term goals without the constant worry of what if something goes wrong. This is critical because without an emergency fund, an unexpected expense can throw you off balance and send you back down the path of debt. Additionally, establishing an emergency fund reinforces the habit of saving, but now with a clear purpose and a well-defined strategy. The best way to build this fund is to start with an initial goal, such as saving $1,000 to cover minor emergencies, and then work toward the more ambitious goal of covering 3 to 6 months of expenses. A great way to make your emergency fund grow is by automating your savings. You can set up automatic transfers from your checking account to a savings account that is just for that fund. That way, every time you get paid or receive money, a portion of that income goes straight into your fund without you having to think about it too much. It's like you're paying yourself first without even thinking about it. It takes away the stress of having to remember to save every month, and you'll be surprised at how much you can accumulate without even realizing it. Step 4. Invest 15% of your income in retirement funds. The fourth step is to invest 15% of our monthly income for our retirement. Dave Ramsey tell an anecdote about 2 friends. One is 40 years old, is in excellent physical shape, watches what he eats, and works out a couple of times a week. The other friend, who is 30 years old, is on a strict diet, runs every day, and lifts weights 3 times a week, but is still overweight. Sounds weird, right? The difference is that the 40-year-old friend has worked hard for years to keep his body in shape, while the 30-year-old, despite putting in the effort, still struggles with his weight. This shows us that maintaining what we have achieved takes less effort than achieving it in the first place. Likewise, when it comes to our finances, it's important to put in the effort today so we can maintain our financial health in the future. Dave emphasizes that saving for retirement is one of the most important things we can do. It is worrying to see that many people who reach the age of 65 find themselves in a very precarious financial situation. The reality is that a large part of the population does not have sufficient savings to face retirement. This means that many people continue working beyond retirement age simply to be able to survive. To avoid falling into this trap, Dave suggests the 15% rule. This means we should save 15% of our gross income before taxes. As for where to invest that retirement money, Dave recommends funds that invest in stocks. Over the long term, these funds have been shown to generate a 10% return per year, even with market fluctuations. But how much money do we need for retirement? Dave says we should save enough to be able to live on 8% of our net worth. For example, if we need $30,000 a year to live on, we should accumulate $375,000 in our retirement fund. It is important to remember that the responsibility for our retirement lies with us, not the government. State pension systems everywhere in the world are becoming increasingly unsustainable, and we are unlikely to be able to rely on them to provide us with an adequate pension in the future. It is time to take control of our own retirement and ensure that we are prepared for the future. Step 5. Create a study fund. The fifth step suggested by Dave Ramsey is to save for our children's education. Today, many parents go into debt to finance university, as in some countries the costs are extremely high. However, although having a university degree does not guarantee a job, it is essential to educate our children, as this can improve their quality of life. Dave points out that our children's success does not depend only on their education, but is also based on their attitude, perseverance, and vision. In his formula, education accounts for 15%, while 85% is attributed to personal qualities. Step 6. Build wealth and share it. We have reached the most exciting part of our financial transformation, the sixth step, which is building wealth and sharing it. Dave Ramsey has discovered that there are 3 ways to use the money we have earned. The first is fun. This means that we can spend our money on what we like, as long as we don't go into debt for it. There is nothing wrong with buying yourself something special, like a new car or spending on a family trip, as long as we do it without affecting our financial goals. If we have worked hard to get here, why not enjoy what we have achieved? The second use of money is investing. Dave suggests continuing to invest in mutual funds and property, always making sure to pay them off and stay out of debt. He also advises surrounding yourself with good financial advisors, such as lawyers, accountants, and real estate agents. When our investments make more money than our work, we can say we have achieved wealth. For example, if we make $40,000 a year, but our investments make more than that, we have achieved financial freedom. Finally, the third use of money is to give it generously. Sharing it with others can be one of the most rewarding things we do. Enjoying life is great, and so is investing, but eventually we may get tired of it all. True satisfaction often comes from helping others. Deciding to live debt-free is a bold step that requires commitment, but offers invaluable long-term benefits. The question now is, are you ready to change your life and take control of your money? Leave us your answer in the comments box. If you found today's content interesting, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. See you later.